AWOL's flagship triple laser ultra short throw projector, the LTV-3500 Pro, must get its name because of the brightness rating of 3500 lumens. Just to give you an idea of what that means exactly, according to whathifi.com, one nit from an OLED TV is equivalent to 3.426 lumens from a projector, since we're dealing with two different display technologies here. And as an example, the LG C4 TVs are rated with a peak brightness of 1000 nits. So if we do some real quick math here, 1000 times 3.426, just move the decimal over 3 places, that equals 3426 lumens. So this LTV-3500 Pro basically gets just a bit brighter than an LG C4, at least on paper. That's saying something, especially for an ultra short throw projector. Now, what is a triple laser UST projector as opposed to a single laser? Well, a single laser has the entire color spectrum coming out of that single light source. But the LTV-3500 Pro has 3 distinct lasers for red, green, and blue. But what's great about an ultra short throw projector like this is that you can just set it on the ground or prop it up on something, and depending on how far away you move the projector from the screen, it can support picture sizes between 80 and 150 inches. And when it comes to 4K UHD TV wide color gamut, aka Rec 2020 or BT 2020, the LTV-3500 Pro can reproduce 107% of the colors defined within Rec 2020. Just for comparison's sake, LCD TVs reproduce only 47%, single laser projectors 58%, and even digital cinemas only 70%. So we're talking about billions of colors with the 3500 Pro. And with regards to HDR, it supports both Dolby Vision and HDR10+, which can't be said by some of its competitors. It is also smart room ready with Control 4 support. And with a picture this large, its built-in 3D active support gives you a truly cinematic 3D experience with such a massive field of view. And speaking of cinema, AWOL makes some of the few UST projectors on the market that support true native 24 frames per second picture, without adding any extra frames or anything. Cinema purists unite! But what really sets it apart from its competition regarding stunning and clear picture quality is its Ricoh f2.0 glass lens with super sharpness. Now, with regards to gaming, projectors typically aren't recommended, but the LTV-3500 Pro in turbo mode supports up to 4K 60Hz gameplay with only a 15 millisecond lag time, and up to 1080p 120Hz gameplay with only an 8 millisecond lag time. Okay, sure, not 4K 120Hz support like an LG C4 TV can do, but still very impressive for a projector set up in a man cave near you. Now, no two living rooms or basements or dedicated theaters are alike when dealing with furniture and how much lighting is coming in, etc. So the Pro in LTV-3500 Pro allows for some incredible full color management adjustments, being able to fine-tune the hue, saturation, brightness, gain, and offset of each red, green, and blue laser. Very nice. Yes, the 3500 Pro does support Dolby Atmos and DTS Virtual X, but with my channel focusing on home audio, yeah, like any speakers that are built into your TV, for example, the sound is just okay coming from the projector itself. Although, like I said in the LTV-2500 unboxing, it's great that it even has audio because a lot of projectors don't, since they're meant to be strictly a video source. So again, in a pinch, I do appreciate that AWOL provides audio support at all, in case you ordered a surround sound system and it just hasn't arrived yet, but you still want to watch something on your brand new massive projector screen. I get it. And with this Cinematic Plus ALR motorized floor rising screen, you could potentially put left, center, and right speakers behind this perforated acoustically transparent section at the bottom, nicely hiding your speakers, or you could put a soundbar behind it or in front of it, whatever floats your boat. But someday, I can still dream of a day in which a motorized screen or even a fixed screen from AWOL is acoustically transparent, so I can have speakers behind the main part of the screen like a more traditional cinema room with a projector. So if you're listening, AWOL, I sure hope that your research and development department is working on acoustically transparent screens. Please and thank you. If you saw my recent unboxing of the LTV-2500 projector, the 3500 Pro is basically the same on the rear of the unit, since you have an optical input, service input, USB input, Ethernet, AV input for the provided AV RCA adapter in case you have an older video game console, for example, HDMI 2 is your eARC port, HDMI 3 is for whatever else, and a nifty hidden compartment where HDMI 1 is located to connect the provided Amazon Fire Stick TV 4K, so you can access streaming platforms, etc. It also comes with this remote that has a rose gold aluminum finish where you can access the settings, switch between HDMI sources, adjust the volume of the audio that comes from the projector itself, but also when CEC commands have been turned on, you can mute and adjust the volume of whatever is connected to the projector, including an AVR if it's ARC compatible. The 3500 Pro is also the same size as the 2500, just with better internal components and a few more menu items. Now let's get to my personal thoughts on this projector. I honestly wish that I had one of AWOL's fixed cinematic screens for this review because it seems like it would be most ideal for this flagship projector with its increased lumens and superior color science. Because using the motorized ALR screen again for this review, it didn't seem like a huge difference in brightness, but at least there was some difference, especially when I watched Avatar: The Way of Water on 3D Blu-ray again. This time around, there were several shots, especially ones on bright days with the characters on the ocean interacting with the wildlife, that I was just mesmerized, like, man, this looks gorgeous. And that's just Blu-ray quality. I watched the original Top Gun in 4K to get a sense of what it does to older movies that were shot on film. And man, it looked like it was shot yesterday. But during the day with these curtains on the side fully open, it still suffered from just a slight washed out look. Now, trust me, I've seen much worse, but a slight wash was still present. But again, I bet that's just because of the material of the motorized screen, since it can't be too rigid, since it has to nicely roll into itself when it goes back down into its housing. But clearly I just don't have the space to put a 120-inch fixed screen. So that's why I opted for the floor-rising version. But I will say this about the floor-rising screen. It sure does make it easy to transport for movie nights, not just in the living room. Sure, it's really long, so I couldn't just put it in a four-door sedan and drive to your Uncle Leonard's house for the upcoming UFC fight. But if you have a truck or an SUV long enough, yeah, bring that screen and the 3500 Pro to your buddy's house, or have a movie night at your cousin's house, or even set it up on the back patio for some summer movie nights and barbecues. Hell, you could even start a mobile movie theater business by hauling a decent soundbar system along with the projector and motorized screen. Food for thought, am I right? So yes, while the picture quality, color space, and detail is absolutely stunning, especially when watching 3D Blu-ray in a dark room, if you plan on utilizing the 3500 Pro during the day quite a bit, like as the main source of your entertainment, I would suggest pairing it with a fixed wall-mounted screen for the absolute most ideal picture quality. But if you want the flexibility of it being mobile from time to time, there's nothing simpler than getting it set up with the motorized screen. Even though my kids are back in school, the 10-day forecast where I live still has highs in the 90s. So I think I'm gonna have a few outdoor movie nights as a nice send-off to the summer of 2024. Can you believe it's spooky season already and Halloween is just around the corner? Man, where has time gone? And that wraps it up, my friends. Do you have your sights set on a UST projector from AWOL? Are you thinking of getting back into 3D Blu-ray? Or maybe considering getting into it for the first time now? Honestly, you'd be surprised how many 3D Blu-rays are still being released today. Are you gonna start a mobile home theater service now for birthdays or weddings or bar mitzvahs or family reunions? If so, I get a 5% stake in your company for giving you the idea. Thanks. And with that, this world is crazy as it is already, so it only makes sense to be kind to one another out there. Don't just watch TV and movies, experience them on a massive scale with an AWOL LTV-3500 Pro. And of course, always be listening.